everyone, I really want to thank you for being here today. I'm so blessed and blessed that the sun has come out. I want to thank our local dignitaries, our local councilman, mayor, Mr. Mike Wells. I really appreciate everyone being here today and how special it is to see you. We've become family over time here in this event and on Memorial Day, so I'm very happy to have you here. What we'd like to start with this morning is a posting of the colors. Please rise. U.S. Armed Forces always overcoming challenges. This morning we have two special guests I'd like to introduce you to say the Pledge of Allegiance. My daughter Samantha and Mike. Thank you. And now the next one. Giving today's invocation is Mr. George Default, a World War II veteran of Normandy, a member of our Campbell Veterans Memorial Foundation Board, an amazing champion and supporter of veterans, Mr. George Default.
Let us join our hearts and minds in prayer. Let's cover. Almighty God, Maker, Creator of all that has been and is yet to come, Giver of this land we call our own, we come before you in gratitude. In gratitude for our country and for those who have stepped forward to protect and defend us. Bless our veterans as we honor them for their service. Bless those who stand in Afghanistan and other areas of conflict. Bless them with strength to courage, wisdom, compassion, as they face the rigors of military duty. Bless their families and keep them from fear and strife as we await their loved ones' safe return. Bless our veterans in military hospitals who are suffering mental and physical disability. Be with the staff of the center as they counsel those with their sorrowful battle. Give them grace and hope as they struggle to put their lives back in order. And dear Heavenly Father, hasten your promised day, so our nation shall be restored in plowshares, and your nation shall not burn war anymore. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
I truly enjoy how life has changed. Please be seated. In the Bay Area, I've been here all my life. I've been in the city of Campbell for over 40 years. One of the things I've seen change is how we treat veterans and their families. We in my family are very blessed to have an amazing extended family. I'd like to share what our daughter's beloved grandfather, Papa Mac, shared this morning. He posted on Facebook. And what he said was, God has sounded revel. Rise and shine to honor our veterans in any way you are able. Good morning, Sergeant Adamisa, and thank you for the ultimate sacrifice you paid for America. So that's how I started my day. I looked at it and I said, reveille has sounded. That resonates with me. I'm a serviceman. I spent my time many years ago. So good morning, world. There's a job to be done, a country to protect. It's another beautiful day here in the city of Campbell. Rise and shine to honor our veterans. We set this day aside to honor those who serve. Take the time to say thank you in support of veterans. It's amazing the giving community that we have now compared to when I was growing up. I think what we do is an amazing thing. Good morning, Sergeant Adamisa. That will always bring a smile to my face. And to all of our brothers, so good morning to you all. Thank you for your service and commitment. To those that have gone before us, we continue your service and commitment to honor. And I don't mean when they're gone that they pass away. I mean that they may not be serving in the service then, and we as veterans continue to serve for our brothers. So I think it's an amazing way to start the day, thinking about service and the things that we do in our lives. I reached out not too long ago to my Cisco family, and I said, I'm looking for a speaker for Veterans Day. And I had a wonderful gentleman named Mike Sanchez, who's here today, who he gave me a very simple introduction. So I'd like to introduce you to Mike Sanchez. He was born and raised in the Bay Area, California, which I really appreciate. A student of history, and he's here today to share with you what he's learned as a leading service. And he gave me Churchill's quote: "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give."
It's an honor to be here today. I am not a veteran, but I have learned a lot from veterans. And one of the things that I'm proud to say is that I support veterans and I support their families. And I learned something really important from veterans, that when veterans serve, their families served with them. Ken reminded me of that. And after veterans serve, their service continues. And Ken and many of you are perfect examples of that idea of giving back. And so that's what I'm here to talk about today is, what does service mean? What have I learned about service? I've only read about history. I haven't probably lived it. We don't know what we've lived in history until long after we're gone. But I asked myself the question, why do people serve? Why do people serve? Why do young men and women go into the service and serve their countries? And is it for God and country? So I decided to ask friends and family who have served, why did you serve? What did it mean to you? What decision did you have to make to serve? Was it for God and country, or was it for, like my dad, who coming out of high school in 1943, about 2 months later, went into the Navy, went to the South Pacific and did his duty there. And before he passed away, and he passed away on Veterans Day a few years ago, I talked to him a lot about why he went there, why he joined the Navy. And he didn't say it was to beat the fascists, and he didn't say it was for God and country. The reason he joined was because his friends were joining. Everybody was joining. It was what you did in 1943. You joined, and you went on an adventure. At least that's what he said they told him when they got him to sign up. Or was it like my friend Andrew, who went to Vietnam and served in Vietnam? Now, the reason he told me he went to Vietnam was a little bit like my dad. I wanted to have an adventure. I wanted to go to exotic places and meet exotic women. That was his reason. Or was it like my coworker today, Callie, who served because she wanted to give back? And I found that to be unique. So I'll tell you a couple of little stories here about these people that I talked to about why they served. So my dad, as I said, went to the South Pacific, served on what was called an aids to navigation craft, which was basically, as he said, went in after the battle and cleaned up and created channels in the bays and laid buoys. My father-in-law, talked to him about it. He was a surgeon's assistant in Korea. He was at a MASH unit in Korea. And I said, why did you sign up? And he said, well, I saw it as a path to college. I thought it was something I could do, and he did, in fact, later become an MD and a PhD. He became a doctor after that. My uncle went to Kings Point, the Merchant Marine Academy in New York, and served, volunteered in Korea and served on a destroyer. And I asked him why he joined, and he said, I thought I could make a career out of this. And he ended up going to Matson Shipping and becoming one of the pioneers of container shipping here in the Bay Area. My friend Andrew, as I mentioned, served on a Midway class aircraft carrier, the USS Franklin Roosevelt, otherwise known as the Rosie. And he told me afterwards that it was not until he came out of the service that he began to realize what it meant. And that was a clue for me. Now, my brother-in-law, Eric, he served in the Navy. He was a helicopter pilot, piloted a Sea Stallion. He was in Operation Eagle Claw, which, if you might recall, was the Iran rescue mission. Now, we didn't know that until many years after he did that, but he told me, for him, it was about personal honor. He had an uncle who also served in the Navy in World War II, was at Pearl Harbor. And he said he was always inspired by Uncle Quentin's stories, so there was an element of honor in his joining. My other brother-in-law, Steve, recently in the Air Force, served in supply and logistics and maintenance of C-17 Globemasters. He grew up in a really tough place, tough family life, really hard life, and he said it was a matter of survival. He needed to go fix his life. That's why he joined up. Now, Callie, very special to me. She was a lieutenant, served in Afghanistan, was in combat. We had conversations about the counterinsurgency manual and many other points of understanding that when you serve, and when she served in particular in Afghanistan, that she got to know the local politics and customs, and that was really important about winning support in the local community in Afghanistan. And she brought that back with her. And she said, the reason I served, I realized, was about community. And here again, that was a clue, because what happens, I think at least what happened with all the people I talked to, is they were young, as most people who serve in the military are, men and women young, and the experience changes them profoundly. And they realize that there was something bigger than themselves that they were part of, and that community consciousness, if it comes, usually comes afterwards. And that's how public service, giving back, paying it forward, starts with that personal sense of, a change is going to do me good. I'm going to do something really dramatic here. I'm going to sign up. And that idea of signing up is very personal. As Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And so I think the principles of service, time, giving your labor, having a sense of humility about your service, making a personal commitment. Later comes the revelation that change inside of you, that maturity, as Ken told me, you're mature when you re-enlist. You decide to commit and re-enlist. Now, for me, a light switch went on when I got a thank you note for the first time from a soldier in Afghanistan that got my care package, and he told me what it meant to him. That changed me, and that came at a late age. So again, the meaning of service is personal. So here's a bigger question. What is a patriot? That question has fascinated me. I think that is a misunderstood word. Now, there are two types of patriots, and there are two ranges of patriotism. Mark Twain described it in one way. Patriotism is usually the refuge of a scoundrel. He is the man who talks the loudest. Beware the patriot that talks the loudest. Because then what you have on the other extreme is what Lincoln at Gettysburg said, giving the last full measure of devotion, the silent patriot. Now, somewhere in between, there are patriots who really are moved by causes and big ideas, and most importantly, taking action. Mark Twain again said, talked about the loneliness of the patriot who has to take that first step, that personal sacrifice. And he said, in the beginning of a change, the patriot is a scarce man and brave and hated and scorned. But when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. But a patriot is somebody who believes in something larger than themselves, in the future, in the power to make change happen, and is willing to support that belief, whatever it is, and take action. So one thing I've learned, and why we're here to honor some of the true patriots here today, here with us today, one thing is for sure, that patriots have made possible the lives that we have today, right here, right now. We are here because we have been cared for by others, often strangers, who performed a service for the greater good, starting with their very personal reasons and their first small steps to make change happen for them. So now, how do we honor our veterans? By serving, in turn, the families and communities that they have preserved with their blood, sweat, and tears. So what can I do? What can we do? What can we ask other people to do? Advocate for improving veterans' health care. Speak out. Donate to the USO. Give back. Hire veterans. Pay it forward. Just take a small step for change. Be a patriot. For me, love of country is really about love of family and love of community and love of the idea that I might have the power to make a small difference. Now, I urge you to remind your families and friends it's never too late to be a patriot. You can start now. As Ronald Reagan said, I believe Moses was 80 when God first commissioned him for public service. So many know what I'm talking about, how a thank you note from a soldier or the smile on the faces of the family who got that bag of food that you just packed at the local food bank. Doesn't it make you feel proud? Doesn't it bring a little smile to your heart? Isn't that little voice in your head saying you did good, son? And you just dialed up on the happiness in the room when you do that. And from the Gold Star families out there today, here's another thing I learned. Loss can turn to gain. giving out comes back to you. Or as the poet once said, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Just do the numbers. The more people serving, the bigger difference made in the world. It is possible. It is possible. Is it possible to create a family and a community, and in fact a culture of service? So somebody once said, a civilization flourishes when people plant trees under which they will never sit. And that happened to be said 2,000 years ago by the ancient Greeks, who had a very strong and powerful concept of community and service. So the question is, can we really deliver on that idea of paying it forward? Can service be a core value for each of us? You have to ask that question of yourself. Can it really be a part of what makes us who we are as a civilization? Well, ladies and gentlemen, just look around you. I think you have the answer. Isn't it a little bit like looking in the mirror? Go ahead and take it personally. Take service personally. Make it a personal thing. And do what patriots do. Spread the word about making change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. You know, folks, every year I try to bring a different perspective to what we shared today. And I really appreciate, Mike, you're bringing that personal perspective and that value of service. And I agree very much with everything you've had to say today. I think it's important to recognize and honor our veteran families as well. I heard a quote recently and it reminded me, and I've heard it from my father as well, who was a Marine. He said one of the hardest jobs in the service was to be a Marine wife. Well, I think it goes as well as for our veterans family. We support, provide, we worry, we comfort, we pray, we love our family members that are serving our country, and we continue to do so. I saw this great commercial recently, and I think it's great because the message that it kind of sends in this regard is a commercial, and I'm probably sure you've seen it, where you see a mom and a daughter searching for a home online, right? And then they're videoing with their husband and father. And they showed this a couple of times. Oh, I found a house, at our schools, found a house, is it in the neighborhood we like? And then it moves forward, and the mom and the daughter are opening the key to a brand new house. And inside is the father, the husband, the soldier. Now, I didn't expect that. It really struck home that our veteran families are doing so much while their family members are serving. They're providing for their children, feeding them to school, they're taking care of business, they're taking care of buying a home. Whatever it takes, a veteran family does it. And it's an amazing contribution that they make. What I'd like to do now is to take a few moments to honor those that have served. And going into that, I want to provide a little bit of history. Each year, I provided a history of Veterans Day. And I'm making it shorter and shorter to be nice to all of you. We have in the audience today some new faces, and so I want to share a little bit. In November 1919, President Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words: "To us in America, the reflection of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, with gratitude for the victory, opportunities it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations." The original concept for the celebration was for a day observed with parades and public meetings and a brief cessation of business beginning at 11 a.m. In June 1926, the U.S. Congress passed a resolution recognizing the meaning of November 11th. Later that same year, President Eisenhower issued the first Veterans Day Proclamation, which stated in order to ensure proper and widespread observance of this anniversary, all veterans organizations, and the entire citizenry will wish to join hands in this common purpose. In September 1975, President Ford signed into law November 11th as the official observance, beginning in 1978. regardless of the day of the week in which it falls, and 30, 40 days, 35 years later, here we are on Veterans Day. I did have one more speaker. I almost forgot. My apologies. I wanted to bring up a gentleman you all know. I didn't get an introduction because I could go on and on and on. I mean, this gentleman continues to provide service as the president of our Veterans Memorial Foundation here in Campbell, as the ambassador for the Army, as a former mayor, former councilor, Mr. Dan Furtado.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here today as we honor all veterans for their service. And Mr. Sanchez, thank you very much for your kind words this morning. They're very inspiring. Thank you. The theme as we honor all veterans correlates very well with the goal of the Campbell Veterans Memorial Foundation. And those of you that have been coming over the last several years have seen the memorial gradually unfold. And even within the last year, there have been additional changes and improvements to the memorial. More bricks have been added in the plaza, and the site looks very good. We have an entrance plaque which identifies the memorial in the area and its purpose. And so we will continue to make improvements there. And we have a lot more spaces to fill with more bricks, and so we encourage you or your friends to honor others, all veterans, living or deceased, with having their name emblazed on a brick in our plaza. On Saturday night, we were very pleased to further honor veterans with our first annual Veterans Memorial Dinner. It also served as a fundraiser for us, and some of you were there, and I thank you very much for your attendance as well. It was a nice event and a good way for us to highlight what we're trying to do. In addition to the memorial, one of our goals has been to establish an endowment for scholarships, which we have begun this past year. And that scholarship program is being administratively managed by the West Valley College Foundation. They have been very supportive of our efforts. We are allowed to invest the monies that we raise into their greater investment pool, and the residual of that we earn each year then actually allows us to award scholarships. The first scholarship, named for Ken's son out of ESEP, actually, thanks to Ken and his family, has been established. It is a part of our scholarship effort. We intend to continue to support that scholarship as well as create additional scholarships. So your support for the memorial will also help and continue the efforts that we are making to honor veterans as they return to school, return from their deployments. I also wanted to mention to you very briefly, on Saturday night, we were joined by the Honorable Michael Wells, the Undersecretary for Veterans Affairs of the California State Department of Veterans Affairs, who is here with us this morning. Thank you very much, sir, for being back with us again. And he was nice to present. He presented to us a proclamation from Governor Brown commemorating our event and commemorating this day. And so we're very grateful that the governor has chosen to honor us in that way. And I just want to read one paragraph from the proclamation, which sort of is designed to capture the spirit of the day as well. This Veterans Day, let us welcome all returning veterans with open arms. And as President Eisenhower wrote in 1954 in his proclamation, let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting an enduring peace, so that their efforts will not have been in vain. And that is going to be a continuing effort for all of us for many years to come. So again, thank you for your service. Thank you for being here today and for being a part of this special celebration.
So I think that I want to thank you very much for that. And, I want to add a couple of additional facts that I got this morning that kind of emphasize how important it is that we do continue to service. I think it's amazing that we developed this commitment to service. But here's a little bit of why. Within the next several years, over 1 million armed forces personnel are are expected to transition from the U.S. military to civilian life, including approximately 307,000 in 2014. Veterans face an extremely high unemployment rate. 18 to 24-year-old veterans' unemployment rate is 18.4%, and the post 9/11 is higher. Veterans possess many traits valuable to the workforce: proven ability to learn quickly and under pressure, work under pressure, leadership and teamwork skills, strong work ethic, and dedication. There's a reason that we give service, and there's a reason we should continue to. And I really appreciate your being here today. The next portion of what we do is to honor our veterans. I am going to play the military hymns, and as I do, I would ask you to stand and represent your service. Give me a second, I'll get started. Air Force? I thought I'd give you a second. Air Force, there we go. Air Force, yeah. Well, the chief order went out to today. So, the next part of the program, though, we really appreciate your focus and an opportunity here as to honor those that have served. You'll see the memorial wreath up on the memorial site, the memorial wreath provided by Hayes Precision, one of our board members. And I really appreciate it. Today, playing taps will be Jaime Rodriguez from the Del Mar Bank. Please be seated. I always have it for a moment after hearing that to kind of reflect on its meaning. When I was a serviceman, it had one meaning. It really was to close the day, capture my thoughts, and prepare for the next one. In 2004, it took a new meaning. It was very impactful when we heard it in 2004, when I laid my son to rest. There's notes that have meaning, notes that give us sorrow, but also notes that inspire. We give it our family because it's the right thing to do. Because we've given, we understand the impact, and we want to. I'm a member of the board for the same reason. I'm very thankful that you're all here today, because I know each of you is here to give an impact in one way or another. To our young men and women who are here supporting us, it's a great thing to see. I want to close today's note with a benediction again, Mr. George DePaul, an amazing World War II veteran, a member of the greatest generation, and I'm looking forward to our new soldiers and those returning to be the next great generation.
Be gracious unto us, O Lord, and bless us as we depart from this place. Stretch forth your protection and guard our country, evermore defended by your power. Amen. Thank you.
Return to colors, please. I think we have some trimming to do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please take a seat. And I do want to give you one last reminder. It has become a practice to take a moment at 11 a.m. on 11/11 to remember those that didn't serve and continue to. So I champion you to pass that message and do take a moment at 11 o'clock to continue to honor those that have served. Our wonderful photographer, Emma, here has offered us an amazing opportunity today. If you're a veteran or a member of their family and would like to participate in a group picture, Emma would like to get a picture today and celebrate today's event. Thank you very much for your time, very, very much for being here on this special day, and thank you again to all the young men